President Biden has ordered nearly 3,000 extra troops to Poland and Romania as Washington moves to reassure jittery NATO allies. Romania has been a member of the alliance since 2004. It has the longest border with Ukraine of any EU or NATO member. It stretches over 649 kilometres from the Black Sea to the top western corner of the country, interrupted, as you can see here, only by the border with Moldova. Let's cross live to Bucharest now. We can join Romania's Foreign Minister Bogdan Aurescu, who is there. Foreign Minister, very good of you to join us. Do Romanians feel threatened by what they think could happen on Ukraine's border?
Well, thank you so much for having me. Indeed, Romania is the closest ally to the high military tension hotspots in the region. And for us, this is not just a crisis about Ukraine's security. It's not just a crisis about the Black Sea region security, and even not just a crisis about European security. It's about the Euro-Atlantic security as a whole. And indeed, it's a very close neighbor to Ukraine. And not only that we have one of the largest borders with Ukraine, but I would mention also the fact that the Romanian Black Sea coast is just some 200 miles away from the illegally occupied Crimea. For us, this crisis needs to have quick responses, and I think it's very important that Russia replies to the written proposals that both the United States and NATO have forwarded on the 26th of January. We have been very closely involved in the preparation of those written replies, both the NATO one and the United States one. And we do hope that the avenues that we have opened in those written proposals will be accepted by Russia. On one hand, we have rejected those proposals by Russia, which were clearly undermining the core parameters of the European security architecture. On the other hand, we have suggested possible ways of further dialogue on issues related to risk reduction, confidence building measures, on transparency and arms control. And we do hope that all
I'm sorry to interrupt, but Dmitry Peskov said today Russia was aware of these certain ideas that that President Macron could be bringing to Moscow that could lower the tension. Is that what you're talking about, those kind of proposals, or is there something more specific that is going to be put on the table?
Those kind of proposals are on the table, and I hope Russia will examine them carefully and responsibly, and that Russia will provide an answer. The letter which was sent last week by Minister Lavrov was not an answer to those written proposals by NATO and the United States. It was referring to another issue about the concept of indivisibility of security. And of course, we are ready to discuss also that issue, but within the context of the whole package that we have forwarded to Russia. So any kind of diplomatic démarche, including that of President Macron, I think it's very helpful. And we hope that Russia will continue on the path of dialogue.
Is there something you would say to Moscow right now about their concerns over the missile defense systems that are in Romania?
Well, we have said it, and it was not only once that we have said it, and I have said it myself personally, repeatedly, that the missile defense site in Romania is not a threat against Russia. That missile defense site in Romania is targeting possible missile attacks coming from outside the Euro-Atlantic area, from the Middle East, and it has no offensive character whatsoever. It's purely defensive. It cannot be populated with offensive missiles, Tomahawks or any other missile. And we have also already suggested to Russia the possibility to have a transparency mechanism put in place in order for Russia to check and to convince itself that there is no offensive missile whatsoever on the Romanian soil. Okay, of course, at the same time, we have suggested that this mechanism should include reciprocity, and that should allow also the allies, including Romania, United States, and other allies, to check Russian sites of missiles in the territory of
Foreign
Russia.
Minister, are you preparing for a possible influx of refugees over your border if there is a conflict?
We hope that the conflict will not start. This is, I think, the most important objective of all diplomatic démarches which are underway. We hope that Russia would understand that it is also in its own interest not to start a conflict. We hope that all diplomatic démarches which are underway will bring some results. I'm also mentioning here the OSCE framework or the Normandy format framework, which should be used. As you know, on the 26th of January in Paris, a Normandy format meeting took place, and they decided to have another meeting this week in Berlin. So there is still space for diplomacy, and we should use that space at its fullest.
Foreign Minister Aurescu, thank you very much for joining us from Bucharest.
My pleasure.
Good to see you. Thank you.